And welcome back to the Friends of McGill Football Overtime Podcast. Today we are joined by offensive coordinator Dimitri Morand. Dimitri, Coach Dim, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Andy.
Well, you're more than welcome. First year in the books. Um, you came from the CJEP system, having already obviously played at the university level with the Cacabin. Um, 3 years coaching at the CJEP at Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu.
Yep, exactly.
Um, um, then Coach Alex reaches out to you beginning of last season. You come into McGill, sort of never having coached at the university level, but give us your sort of impressions after year one, drinking probably from a fire hose of information and new experiences at the university level. Give us your impressions.
Yes, well, first off, Alex has always been a mentor for me. He coached me in CJEP, recruited me in CJEP, gave me my first legit opportunity in on the Quebec scene in terms of football. I'm from Gatineau originally. I played my football before CJEP in Ontario, and wasn't really familiar with how football was played in Quebec at first, and graduating high school and getting my shot at Saint Jean at the CJEP level, getting to meet Alex. Uh, you know, uh, when it was my first year starting, entering my second year at the CJEP level, spending time at the office a lot, tagging film, talking football, kind of, having my first impressions of what it was really like to coach on a daily basis, and really kind of falling in love with it, and kind of slowly directing my priorities towards that for my post career plans. And fast forward to now, and I get the shot to actually work with him, and I think that he really respected what I did in Saint Jean, what we accomplished after he left in 2019. And
Yeah, you won a
uh,
couple of bowl doors together there, right?
yeah, in 2014,
Yeah.
2015. And so fast forward to May 2025, and joining the program, which has a great momentum, great recruiting class, young team with some solid veterans. And I was fortunate enough to be a part of the spring camp, and kind of it was already in the plans for me to be an kind of a guest coach as a CJEP coach, but kind of circumstances made that the job opened up at the same time, so it was kind of me dipping my toes a little bit with the team
Right
during spring
away.
camp. And oh yeah, and that week was so special. Guys knew they needed an OC. Guys knew they kind of uh, the stage was kind of set for me to take the job. I think the veteran players, that understood how the game works, kind of understood that I was debating on taking the job, and right away, I was connecting with players like Eloi, like Charles Baraquette didn't play this year, but Charles Baraquette was really vocal, and we went back and forth talking about it a little bit. And first impressions of my first season at the university level. Of course, as a competitor, we're not satisfied with the end result, but if we're focused on the process of things, I think we got better. I think that our we're building the culture that we're trying to establish here at McGill, and the excellence level that we're trying to reach. And we got all the pieces in place. We were talking just earlier about our alumni presence, which makes it so special, and kind of garnishes the experience for coaches and players and parents and fans and students that comes to the games. And so I'm really happy about the situation. Great environment, great people. Everybody's locked in, focused for what's coming. And I would be lying if I would say that I wasn't a little bit, I think anxious is the word about certain situations, as a 28-year-old joining the staff and having to coach players that I actually played against my last year. I'm talking about players like Darius Simmons, Jonathan Monteau, David Amani, Jeffrey. These guys, we actually went up against each other in 2021. So it was kind of special, and it was kind of a theme also, recurring theme during the season, kind of going back and forth about some of these plays that happened in those games, and um, yeah, so just a great group overall, and great environment, great setup, and uh, also lots of momentum and lots of potential for what's coming. I think that everybody's
For
kind of
sure.
feeling that, in terms of resources and um, new talent that might join the team, and young players stepping up after their first or second year. It's something pretty interesting. I think something is brewing at Percival Molson.
Yeah, we can feel it too as alumni, you know. And along those lines, so you weren't a part of the recruiting situation last year. We had a huge recruiting class last year. My guess is you're directly involved with it this year, and how's that been?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great. We got offensively. We have a lot of talent coming in at the receiver position. We have great relationships also at the O line position right now, waiting for responses. But lots of talented guys, debating on whether they're joining us or not. And if you look at it, for the past, 3 4 years, following the youth sports and the RSEQ scene in Quebec, I don't think that McGill was in a position to actually, close this kind of talent a couple years ago. So I think that's a straight testimony of um, uh, the momentum that is brewing right now, and I think that players feel it, recruits feel it, and it's something that we need to kind of make them realize is that one talented player takes that first step, and it has a trickle down effect for every other player that is waiting to make a decision. I was in that same position not too long ago, and everybody's kind of looking at who's committing where, kind of uh, projecting themselves forward and thinking about what kind of team is it going to look like in 3 4 5 years, and without jumping into the details of it all, I think that we're in a great position. I can only talk honestly for offense. I spend a lot of time on the
Hmm.
offensive side, of course. Coach Max is doing a great job on the defensive side of the ball. We just announced Emile Poulard, who is one of the best Division 1 players out there, really versatile, and yeah, we're also in a good position for a top end quarterback, but don't want to throw ourselves forward too soon. Too soon.
Okay, well, you mentioned
We
the
we want to.
positions.
I'm sorry.
So we usually don't go into the weeds here, but I'm going to mention just in terms of overall players graduating, not graduating, returning, whatever. So you mentioned O line. We're going to lose at least one All Canadian from the O line, Dom Piazza. Fingers crossed, he's going to go back with Edmonton this
Yeah,
year.
well,
And
he just signed with them, so he's on
right,
the active
right.
roster right now. Yeah.
Oh, really? Perfect. Okay, great. Because I know last year he had the tryout, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Um, so you're gonna have some holes to fill there. This past year, you ran an RPO style offense. I apologize, not familiar with your previous experiences with your offenses that you ran in CJEP, but the RPO offense this year, I mean, you have Elway handing off the ball or throwing or running. You had Jerry running and other terrific running backs.
Yeah, having Jerry in the backfield kind of makes everything easier for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and we've got a good line of running backs there too behind him. So uh, we had. Are you comfortable with that RPO offense in the sense that I apologize? Did you run it in when you were a quarterback?
Yeah, well, I when I was a quarterback, playing for Alex in Saint Jean, it was kind of the beginnings of it. But
Right.
yes, we definitely did play that same kind of. We joke around with that all the time. We're not great with labels. Some coaches are going to be like, we run that air raid West Coast offense. If we could put a label on it, I would say we're in that spread offense philosophy centered around RPOs on open downs for sure. And yeah, it was the beginnings of it all in Saint Jean in 2014, 2015, 2016 for myself. And it wasn't necessarily the same philosophy at the University of Montreal, kind of more of a classic pro style CFL offense, I would say. And there's guys down south say it all the time. There's many ways to skin a cat. All you have to do is believe and have a system that fits together, and having the players to execute them and buy in. And I think that there's plenty of ways to move the ball, but we decide to play the numerical advantage, send the ball to where we think is the smartest at all times when it's an open down situation. I coached that same kind of system in Saint Jean
You
in
did it. Okay.
2023 and 2024 when I was OC there. Um, I think it comes back to Alex and myself thinking the same in terms of attacking defenses and creating space, creating numbers. Um, so yeah, I'm super comfortable with it, super familiar with it, and it's also something that is really flexible with personnel. Um, so it's something great. There's definitely growth to be added to that same system. I think that the philosophy and the system evolves throughout the times, depending on who's available, who's who's where. Who's your top receiver? Where is he on the field? What is our quarterback good at throwing, good at doing? Who's in the backfield? Who's our O line? You talked about how we're going to have some big shoes to fill. Guys like Zach Abud graduating, guys like F.O. Leclerc graduating, guys like Dom graduating.
Yeah,
But we also have, it's sad to see these guys go. It's tough to replace these kinds of players for sure. And
for
also
sure.
the vibe that they bring to the offense, I think is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
wouldn't
No,
it,
that
it
was
won't be
present at
it
the
won't be
senior
matched.
dinner.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
the O line, they yeah, they're good times. But yeah,
they're great. It won't be
yeah,
matched. But that being said, we have a lot of young guns uh, waiting to get their shot.
sure.
We had young Pat Parent, 18 years old, that started half the season for us. You went up against when we played at University of Montreal. It was his first start, the second game of the season when we played at Sepsum.
Mm,
Tight game, ended on the last play of the game. Um, but Pat Parent started that whole game, away. That was his first start. And, he went up against some interior D linemen that I played with when I was at Montreal. So that
really,
age
eh?
difference was about 7 years old. So and when he played in the playoffs versus Laval, uh, he went up against some pretty serious interior D linemen, one of them being something like 27, 28 years old. So, and he more than held his ground. So,
Yeah,
and that's for Pat, but there's also Oli Paradis that started most of the year for us, and Tom Gingras that was our starting left tackle all year. Those are all first year players, and we got a lot of other first year players waiting to get their shot. Really excited about what our big boys are going to do next year.
that's fantastic. Yeah, it's the nature of the beast, right? I mean, players are going to graduate, and you got to fill those holes for new guys. And it's
Yep.
great that we've got our young guys some experience, especially facing teams like, the Carabin who are national champs, and you can say
Oh
you went
yeah.
up against those guys and held your own.
Oh yeah.
So
So in different conferences like in Ontario, some big programs like Western and Queens even, they have kind of farm teams in lower levels like the OFC and the OSFL. And like normally these first year players, these first year linemen, they're not even going up against U Sports competition. They're either practicing with the team, or if they were in another conference in a different kind of system, different kind of status quo. Well, they might go against, they might play games, but against other freshmen, other first year players that are 18, 19 also. So it was kind of a baptized in fire for these guys, and they showed up to the plate for sure.
yeah. Um, for your day to day, at the office, etc. What was the big difference you found between at the university level, coaching at the university level, and coaching at the CJEP level? Obviously, the players bigger, faster, stronger, but specifically maybe tied to McGill. What was the difference you found between CJEP and university coaching?
Well, first off, our practice hours were two hours earlier, so I kind of appreciated that. A bit more time to sleep, a bit more time to game plan. Watch film. I think that the structure made it so that at the OC position, there was a bit more support in terms of resources that were actually present throughout the whole week. I had great support in Saint Jean. We kind of had a trio that was working around the offense with my man Gustave and my man Albert. But in McGill, it's a bit different. There's a lot of guys that are implicated. Roles are really uh, defined. And I think that I really appreciated the rhythm of the week. One thing that I experienced with this year that I wasn't necessarily doing the same in Saint Jean is structuring the whole week before the week actually happens. Um, you know, uh, when day zero finishes and that we've corrected the previous game and guys have finished their rehab and we've ate dinner. Well, the game planning portion and the structuring of the practices portion, that is all pretty much done before I go to sleep, before I wake up for day one. And then day one is a lot of drawing for getting those installs ready for presentations and meetings, and connections with players. Kind of as soon as the players get their hands on the install, most of them come ask questions in the office, and having time slots to meet with players, and that was kind of the same compared to Saint Jean, but when you're kind of the decision maker, and it was actually my first time doing that in Saint Jean in 2023 and 2024. I would finish the week at the around day three, late, and it's not something that we've experienced at McGill this year. We're able to structure the whole week prior, and also kind of gives you that leeway to make the right adjustments without being last minute. If we need to change some things, or whatever happens that need to kind of have some personal change on the depth chart, everything kind of happens smoothly. So no, once again, really appreciated this experience, and looking forward to adding new things, looking forward to growing in terms of how we work. Um, and I think we're in the right spot.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, I know all about we know all about the structure and the days and that, because for our red zone report during in season, I can only talk to Coach Alex and Coach Soup on certain days before the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
these day
he's
zero, day one, day two are pretty big
that's right. He's got
charge
it
days.
scheduled. down to the minute. It's perfect. Okay, so thank you very, very much, Dim, for being with us today. I did want to do some shout outs first before we go, though. First of all, for our all Canadians, had three all Canadians this year. On
That's
your
huge.
offense, we had Jerry and Dom, and on defense, I don't want to forget the D.
Yeah, of course.
Janai Copeland Lewis on D.
What a
Congratulations to
stud.
those three players. Yeah, I mean, fantastic for them and for McGill. It's fantastic. Also, I wanted to thank some friends of McGill football. We had the senior dinner, and there was a bunch of alumni there. That was awesome to see those guys. But there was also some friends of McGill football that couldn't attend but did send in some money to pay for the guys' meals, the seniors' meals. So shout out to Michael Pinot, Patrick Bartlett, Miles Druckman, Eric Toupin, Charles Bourque, Michael Robb, Gary Kirchner, and of course Vic. Thanks to all of you for donating there, so the senior dinner went off without a hitch, and the players didn't have to pay for their meals. That was fantastic. So, I'm not sure who we're going to have on the next overtime podcast. It might be leaning towards the Build the Nest campaign.
Mhm.
So, look for that in the next few weeks. But Coach Dim, thank you so much for being a part of our little podcast here.
Well, thanks a lot for having me again, and always an honor, always a pleasure. And whenever you want to do this again, hit me up.
Appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
All right. Ciao, Andy.
Take care.